Back here at Snowy Legion Field, before break, Kevin was kind of going over what some of the things the teams will have to alter because of the conditions today.
Right, and we talked about offense as far as running. You're going to want to more stick to your power game. But passing, the receivers know where they're going, and so they have the advantage of knowing when to cut. Defenders having to react are going to have a harder time reacting and playing defense. So that favors Evergreen maybe a little bit because they're a little more of a passing team. Special teams, especially with this wind coming in, it's going to be harder to judge punts. Always plays a big part. But Fort Morgan's solid in all three facets of the game. I think they have a really good chance of coming out of this ahead. But they do have to play well because Evergreen's a solid, undefeated team as well.
Yeah, and Fort Morgan deferred to the second half, so Evergreen will receive to start the game. The Fort Morgan starting lineup is brought to you by Cargill Beef. Cargill Beef is committed to feeding the world in a responsible way by reducing environmental impact and continuously improving products and processes. Learn about Cargill's story of commitment at www.cargill.com. So the defensive starters for the Fort Morgan Mustangs, senior Isaiah Lopez, senior Justin Pineda, senior Richard Herrera, senior Austin Cosman, freshman Trey McBride, senior Eric Kimball, senior Eric Fluoff, junior Frank Rosales, junior Toby McBride, junior Jacob Fritzler, and junior Alex Mai.
It's going to be interesting to see whether Franny, a soccer player, I guess in Colorado sometimes they play in snow, but all of a sudden the snow's picked up and it's going pretty much horizontal, and he'll be able to boot this one into the end zone if there's any air left in the ball.
That's for sure. The opening kickoff is brought to you by Ingmeyer Phillips Insurance. With 2 locations in Brush and Fort Morgan, Ingmeyer Phillips can help you with your home, car, health, or life insurance questions or needs. So pretty strong north wind here with some pretty decent snow coming down right now. You're going to have somebody hold the ball on the tee as Dalen Mugenberg will hold it. So
I think Fort Morgan's fortunate to have won the toss and been able to defer. I wouldn't want to have to start my offense facing the teeth of this probably 20, 25 mile an hour wind with blizzard conditions.
It is not nice out. So Franny approaches. Nice deep kick by Franny as it will take him into the end zone. So Evergreen will start at their own 20 as Franny has the first kickoff of the game for a touchback. So 1st and 10, Evergreen from the 20-yard line. And their starting quarterback is Dalen Reefus, a junior 6'1", 165-pound quarterback. And they come out in like a T formation. It's going to be a handoff right up the middle, and not much there as he is met. They're going to give him one, it looks like, to the 21. So I'll bring up 2nd and 9 from the 21.
Looked like number 1, Austin. Oh, that's the wrong team. Tanner Cassine. Twin brothers Tanner and Marcus. Tanner's the runner and Marcus is the receiver.
So they do just get it across the 20. So 2nd down, same formation, have one receiver split left. It's going to be a handoff over the left side. And nothing there as he is stopped for no gain. So a nice job by the defensive line of the Fort Morgan Mustangs.
Yeah, it was sticking with the power game, and Fort Morgan's going to have none of that. You're not going to run up the middle against us.
So we'll see what Evergreen comes out with here on 3rd and a long 9 as they now split 3 receivers left and 1 right. Shotgun formation for Evergreen. Snap back. He looks down over on the right side, and he is being hounded, and he is going to escape the initial rush. The pass is downfield, but it is going to be well short and out of bounds of his intended receivers. So nice job there by Trey McBride, Jacob Fritzler, and I believe Richard Herrera also in the area tried to bring down the quarterback, but they did flush him out to the right.
Boy, that would have been nice to have caught him back there inside the 10. But with them punting into the wind, I think we're going to get good field position as long as we don't mishandle this punt.
So 4th and 9 from the 21. As they line up in the punt formation. Snap back. That low line drive is going to be caught at the 42 of Fort Morgan. And Kyle Daniels breaks loose around the right side. He still slips on the 35, the 30, the 25, the 20. He's got a convoy at the 10, 5. Touchdown, Fort Morgan on the punt from Evergreen. Kyle Daniels takes it around the right side for the touchdown. Fort Morgan up 6-0 with 10:21 to go in the first period. Okay, Franny Gonzalez in now to try the point after try with Joey Snyder to hold. So Franny with these bright orange shoes, snap placement, and it's off to the side. Not a good kick. I couldn't tell if the hold was not good or not. It's hard to tell. But I think we saw right there, Kevin, part of the these uniforms maybe getting a little slick as he slipped about 3 tackles there before he finally went down and got in the end zone for the touchdown.
Yeah, and I was saying there that he caught the ball in kind of risky situation. He was surrounded by defenders, but he came up and made a sure-handed catch, and one guy hit him, and he bounced off that tackle and, like you said, slipped a couple others, and Fort Morgan did a really good job of blocking downfield. And what a great break. Now Evergreen's going to face that 20-mile-an-hour windstorm with snow in it, again, probably down at their 20.
So an excellent way for the Mustangs to start as they lead 6-0.
Snow's starting to build up on the track. The field still isn't quite showing too much white. I think maybe by the end we might have 3-4 inches.
So Mugenberg holds the ball again for Franny. As Franny approaches, puts his foot into it. Looks like it may be a little short. It's going to come down at about the 4, at the 5, the 10, the 15, the 20, 25. Still goes, and he is finally brought down at about the 30-yard line. So the Cougars with their second possession.
Nice high kick, but he just didn't get as much distance on it as he had gotten on that first one. And Fort Morgan got to set up and stuff this run again and force him to pass him. Maybe this time sack him and get a good field position once again.
So one receiver right for Evergreen with a full house backfield. It's going to be a handoff over the left side for about 2 yards, and that is Connor Solowetz. Excuse me, no, it's I'm not sure who that was. I thought it was number 5, but it'll be a 2nd and 8 for the Cougars from the 32-yard line.
Yeah, good tackle there by Austin Cosman.
So now we have one receiver left, kind of an offset T in the backfield. It's going to be a handoff over the right side, but it's going to be a pass. And he is going to be brought down in the backfield. And that is going to be Frank Rosales in there first as he takes down Tanner Kaysen. They try to go to the bag of tricks here early, and it goes bad for him as Tanner is brought down at the 24-yard line.
And minus 8 yards on that sack. Excuse me. Little trickery, the halfback pass, and when the wind's blowing into you and your quarterback, the first time he tried to pass, had to run for his life. I'm not sure that was the best choice for them.
So trips left, shotgun formation. As Case looks out here to the right, it's caught out the 24, slips a tackle at the 30, 34, but he is going to be short of the first down as he goes down at the 30, about the 38-yard line. So we'll bring up a 4th and 2. From the 38 after the swing pass out into the left flat. And Evergreen will bring out their punt team. So Fort Morgan has to keep their composure and not be called off on a hard count to make Evergreen punt this ball away.
That was a nice pitch and catch by the quarterback and receiver on that play.
Snap back. almost blocked by Trey McBride. The wind has caught this again, and Fort Morgan needs to get away from it. Now they have a flag down about where the ball landed, so we'll see what the...
He was calling for onside or a fair catch, and there's just a group of about 5 Evergreen guys standing there, and wisely he ran into the group trying to get through, and I think they're going to look at maybe giving them some extra yardage here.
Interference for the chance to catch. So the flag's about the 42. That's what it is. Hit it right on the head, Kevin. So that will tack on a little more yardage here with 8:03 to go.
I'm sure the Evergreen coaches aren't thinking this way, but it is better than the last punt where the Mustangs ran it down for a touchdown.
Make us work for it a little bit, but that's a 15-yard penalty, so that takes it down into Cougar territory, down to the 43-yard line, 42-yard line. So it'll be 1st and 10, Fort Morgan from the 43. So we'll see what the Mustangs can do against this defense of Evergreen that only allowed 88 points this year. McBride over the left side. He is caught in the backfield, but he breaks the tackle and gets it down to the 40. Just inside the 40, it looks like. So we'll see if they give it.
Kind of an interesting call having McBride run the sweep around the left side.
We'll call it second and 7 from just inside the 40. Full house backfield, tight formation for the Mustangs. Hands off straight up the middle and gets a couple of yards. And that is Jacob Fritzler, I believe, took that up the middle. So we'll bring up a 3rd and about 4 for the Mustangs. And they're just keeping it close to the vest right now from the 36-yard line.
I don't see Tate Kimball out there. I'm hoping he's not sick or out for this game.
So handoff over the right side as I believe it was Frank Rosales. I'm not sure, but he does get enough for the first down as he gets it down to the 31.
Yep.
So there's Tate coming into the game now with Kyle Daniels and Eric Kimball. So maybe they're just giving him a little different look than what they had seen in the films that they had studied.
I don't know, but it worked, and it worked well. Maybe, yeah, like you say, just play with their minds a little bit. Can't imagine Chisholm doing that.
So now we go to I formation with Daniels left and Eric Kimball split wide right. Going to be a handoff to take Kimball over the left side, and he has stood up at about the 29-yard line. We'll see if they give him that forward motion from the other side. It looks like they will. So it should be a gain of about 2. So that'll bring up a 2nd and 8 from the 29-yard line as the Mustangs continue to keep the ball on the ground.
Early on, I think you're going to see that the short gains, the really fighting for yardage, and then later on when Evergreen gets worn down, we'll hope to see Tate break some of his signature long runs.
So I formation again for the Mustangs. Toby McBride is handed off to Toby up the middle, but there is nothing there. He still tries to get out of the tackle, but he's going to be brought down on the backside of the 30. So that's going to be about a 3rd and 9 from the 30. So the Evergreen Cougars, they have a Grayson Lincoln. He's a senior, 6'3", 210-pound defensive end, along with Brendan Harmon, a 5'11", 195 lineman, and also Jacob Ronder, 6 foot, 207-pound defensive end. It's going to be a handoff over to the right side again to Tate Kimball. He's not going to get much. He will get it back down inside the 30, maybe to the 28.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe they would go with some sort of play action pass and pass over the top to Trey McBride or something, but they're sticking with their strong game and not taking any chances.
Well, 4th and 8 now from the 28-yard line. Eric Kimball comes back in along with Kyle Daniels. We are in the I formation once again. as Joey fades back. And it's going to be a screen. It's going to be caught by Tate, but he is going to be brought down back about the 37-yard line on that fourth down play. So that kind of backfired. It'd been better if he had just dropped the ball, but that's hard to tell a kid when you're out there to try to drop it. You're better off dropping it. But so it's going to be a turnover on downs, as the Cougars will now take over at the 37.
And they did a really good job, the Cougars did, of reading that screen pass. And like you say, you should have just thrown it out of bounds and saved the yardage.
So T formation was going to be a throw out to the right, but nobody there. And nice job in the defensive backfield, as the ball was in and out of the hands of the intended receiver, but hit hard in the backfield. They didn't catch who that was. It broke up that pass, but
it was a good hit on the receiver as well. It was a little behind him, and he really didn't have a chance to catch it. But always want to let him know we're there, and we're coming up to welcome him to Fort Morgan.
So two receivers left and right, shotgun formation. Snap back, looks over to the right, pass over to the right. It's going to be complete, but taken down. It stayed in bounds, and then finally knocked out of bounds at the 45-yard line. So they're going to be about 2 yards short of the first down. So it looks like they'll bring up about a 3rd and 2 from the 45 for Evergreen. So we'll see what they do here on 3rd down.
Seems to be able to passing pretty good there.
Kind of quick passes, about 7 to handoff up the middle, and he is going to break over for the first down. And as he handed off the ball, Repas was met by Toby McBride and knocked to the ground, but they do pick up the first down. So the first down, I believe, for Evergreen this afternoon. So 1st and 10 from the 48.
And they seem to be having much more success passing than running, although that was a nice 4-yard run for a first down.
So snap back. Knocked down. Nice job at the line by Trey McBride. We have a flag down here at about the 50-yard line.
I'm guessing maybe it's illegal formation or something, because he threw it right away. Probably didn't have enough people in the back or on the line.
So we'll see what they come up with there off that first down play. They're going to wave it off. So apparently maybe this near ref couldn't see if the other side was up on the line properly, so they discussed it. And I'm going to leave it now. It's going to be a 2nd and 10 after that pass was knocked down by Trey McBride.
2 Fort Morgan coaches quizzing the official to find out exactly why that was. And
so 2 receivers right and 1 left. Shotgun formation with the back on either side of the quarterback. He drops back, looks over to the right side, and he is going to be taken down for the sack by Trey McBride back at about the 40-yard line.
And he kind of went down awkward on his head, and Trey pile-drived him into the frozen turf, and he's not feeling so good right now.
So they're going to make it about a 6-yard loss back to the 42, so that'll bring up a 3rd and 16 after the sack. When they're looking to go down deep for much of a pass, they don't have much time, because the Fort Morgan defense is in on Repas in a hurry. So now 3rd and 16 for Evergreen. They have 2 receivers right and left. Shotgun, snap back. He looks out to the left side. Deep pass down the left sideline, and it's going to be complete down to the Fort Morgan 25.
Oh, well, there's a little bit of a push off by the receiver, but it's hard to catch that at this level.
And that was complete to Marcus Kaysen. So that will bring up a 1st and 10 for Evergreen at the 23-yard line. So that was a nice deep pass into that wind.
And the receiver's a little bit taller than the defender, so you just toss it right over the top. Really well-placed ball.
So full house again, going to be a handoff over the right side, but he is going to be brought down in the backfield at the 25. Frank Rosales, Alex Mai back there. They do take it back to the 25, so that'll be a loss of 2. So they'll bring up a 2nd and 12 from the 25. As Alex Mai and Frank Rosales, 2 of the Mustangs in on that play. So now 2 receivers right, left again. Shotgun formation, snap back, a little high. It's going to be a pass over the middle and in and out of the hands of, I believe that's Keenan O'Hearn, I believe, number 3. But it was right there, but he couldn't handle it, so that'll bring up a 3rd and 12 after that incomplete pass.
And I haven't checked their field goal kicking stats, but I'm guessing they're in 4-down territory as well. And so Mustangs got to hold them 2 more plays.
So it brings up a 3rd down. Their field goal kicker this year is 12 of 18, and his longest is 44. But that would be tough into this wind. So 2 receivers right, 1 left, shotgun formation. Kayson's going to be a draw play as he breaks it out to the left side, and he's got a little bit of room, but caught from behind by Eric Kimball. And he won't get quite to the 20, I don't believe, so that'll bring up a 4th down from the 21. So that was a gain of 4. So bring up a 4th and 8 for Evergreen, and they will set up for the field goal.
Well, it puts it at about a 37, 38-yarder, so this kid certainly can make it.
Davis Price, a 6'1 junior, 160 pound. Snap back, the kick is up, but it's going to be well short. And lands in the end zone. It's about 8 yards deep or so from the goalpost. So
Kyle Daniels was thinking about catching it and pulling an Auburn play against Alabama, but wisely let it drop because you'd rather have it out on the 20 than take that chance.
So now the Fort Morgan Mustangs will take over with 1:48 to go left in the first period as the Mustangs are up 6-0. As they come out in a tight formation. Snyder under center. It's going to be a handoff over the left side and breaks a couple of tackles as Frank Rosales as he gets it out to the 26-yard line. So that'll be a gain of about 6 yards. So they'll bring up a 2nd and 4 from the 26.
I really like the way Frank's come on in the last end of the season and then last week's playoffs. Had some good runs, and it's good to reward him. He's running hard. He's a little more of a slasher, where Toby's more of a, I'm going to run you over and then go for more yards.
So same formation for the Mustangs. Going to be a handoff to Toby around the left side. He breaks a couple of tackles, gets it out close to the 1st down, but he's going to come up just short. We'll call it at the 29. So it'll be a gain of 3. So that'll bring up 3rd and 1 for the Mustangs from the 29 as Toby takes it around the left side for a gain of 3.
Evergreen settling in after giving up that punt return and has had a good defensive stand and a couple good offensive drives.
So same formation again for the Mustangs. We'll see if Toby gets it. Going to be a snag, going to be over the left side, and it will be enough for the 1st down as they get it across to the 31. Frank Rosales with the carry. So nice job there by Frank Rosales to pick up that 1st down. Nice job by the offensive line to get him just enough room. So that'll be a 1st and 10 from the 26. As they wind the clock, we have 20 seconds left to go here in the first period of play. As Eric Fluoff, Eric Kimball, and Tate Kimball come into the game with Trey McBride, Frank Rosales, and Jacob Fritzler come to the sideline. We're going to see if they can get a playoff here in 5 seconds. One more play as they're going with the wind. Down to 1 second, and it's... Oh, that was strange. It looked like there was still 1 second on... Oh, called a delay of game on Fort Morgan. So there will be one more play. It'll be a 1st and 15.
And I think that had to have been a difference of about 0.5 seconds, and why the official didn't do that. I think he just had to make his point. And he obviously started waving his hand when it was 6. And so Joey just didn't get him up there in time to go.
So it'll be a first and 15 for the Mustangs from the 25-yard line. Pass by Schneider down the left sideline, and it's going to be intercepted at the Evergreen 42-yard line. So a turnover here by the Mustangs with no time left here in the first period of play. So after one, Fort Morgan 6, Evergreen nothing on B106 and B106.com. With Kevin Rohde, this is Brian Nickel back at Legion Field in Fort Morgan, where it's a quarterfinal game between the Evergreen Cougars and the Fort Morgan Mustangs. To start the second quarter here, the Fort Morgan Mustangs up 6-0. And now Evergreen will have the win to their back, so we'll see if they come out passing the ball a little bit more.
Although we saw last week that passing into the wind seemed to be more productive than passing with the wind for both teams.
So one receiver split wide left. Handoff to the second man through, and that's going to be out to about the 42-yard line. So we'll give him 2 on that, bring up a 2nd and 8 from the 42. We're going to go a quick huddle here, or quick snap and no huddle. 3-back backfield, receiver left, and it's going to be a play action, lay it out on the left side, and going to be over the head of the intended receiver. Seth Osman has had nice defensive coverage out there by Eric Fluoff, and Isaiah Lopez also back to help. So that will now bring up a 3rd and 8 after the incomplete pass.
Sometimes you have little plays like that you just try and catch them off guard and hope that defender out there is a little bit asleep and you can get one out there on him.
He does throw a nice ball, even with this wind blowing. He has a nice spiral going out there. So 3 receivers left, tight end to the right, shotgun formation. As he looks out to his left, another deep ball down the left sideline and over the head, just over the outstretched arms of Connor Solowetz. So that brings up a 4th and 8 after the incomplete pass. They've gotten away from what they were doing. I guess they're trying to take advantage of this wind, which is really more side wind than it is downfield. It's more coming out of the northeast right now than it was. So.
And they're going to play field position and punt and pin Fort Morgan back facing this wind.
So Kyle Daniels, the lone back at about the 15, almost blocked. Still not a good punt. It's going to go out of bounds at about the Fort Morgan 30.
And that Fort Morgan was fortunate to have him punt that out of bounds because, with this wind, he could have gotten it much further.
So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Mustangs from their own 30-yard line. I saw Isaiah Lopez must have tweaked his ankle just a little bit on that last defensive play. He was working it a little bit, limping on it a little bit, so we'll see what the Mustangs will come up with here as they lead this 6-0.
I think the defense would like him to stay on the field a little bit longer. This is only their 12th play of the game.
So handoff over the right side, and Tate Kimball is going to be brought down behind the line of scrimmage. So not much running there for the Mustangs as that brings up now we're going to bring a 2nd and 10 as they put it right back at the 30. So the Fort Morgan faithful, they're trying to make, and I don't know why they're making the noise now. They shouldn't be making the noise when we're on offense, but maybe they're just doing it to keep warm. So
have to move once in a while.
So full house backfield for the Mustangs. Schneider hands off to Tate Kimball over the right side, and he's breaking it out to the 35, out to the 40, 45, 50, 45, 40, and he is going to be brought down in Cougar territory. Nice job moving over the right side by Tate Kimball as he takes it down to the Cougar 28-yard line. So 1st and 10 Mustangs from the 28.
And on that one, I don't know if you watched, but their defensive end is actually playing about 3 yards outside, and he's turned facing in. They're just daring us to run inside. They're not going to let us get outside. And that time we kicked him out and bounced inside and went the distance.
So handoff this time to the left side as there's a hole over the left side as he gets it down, and he is hit hard at about the 25. So that'll be a gain of about 3. So that'll bring up a 2nd and 7 from the 25. So a run day here for both teams, basically.
If Fort Morgan can establish that running game and get a couple of scores on it, it's going to be a lot tougher for Evergreen because they're going to have to become one-dimensional.
So Fort Morgan in the full house backfield once again with Schneider under center. Tight end on each end. It's going to be a handoff to Tate Kimball once again as he tries to get outside. And he has a block out there by Toby McBride. He breaks it down to the 15, so he'll have enough for the first down. So nice job, nice lead block again by Toby McBride. And Tate Kimball follows in behind as he gets it down to about the 14-yard line. So that's about an 11-yard run for
Evergreen. Going to call a timeout, try and regather the troops.
So they're they're running right at their number 16, that Grayson Lincoln that's had, I think he's had 12 and a half sacks this year. I don't know what he's had for as far as tackles this year, but they're running right at him, and Toby, they're just kicking out that end, and they're finding that running lane outside more to the right than they are to the left. And so
they're probably going to talk to that defensive end and say, you need to, you can't just give ground to play contain. You never want to get beat outside, but you can't just give 3, 4, 5 yards. So they're probably telling him, and he's probably saying, "Do you see that guy coming at me? That's 32." No one wants to have 32 lead block on him, I imagine.
It's like the lead engine coming right at you. So we're going to be set up again with Toby McBride and Jacob Fritzler and Tate Kimball as the deep back. 9:36 to go here in the second period. It's going to be a handoff over the right side again to Kimball, and he breaks it down inside to the 10. So that'll be a gain of 4. So that'll bring up about a 2nd and 6 from the 10-yard line. So Tate kind of picking his way through there, waiting for the hole to open.
Right. Early scores in 3A. Discovery Canyon's up 13-7 over Delta.
So Fort Morgan once again, same formation, going to be handoff to Tate Kimball over the left side. He breaks the tackle, gets inside the 10, inside the 5, and he's in for the touchdown for the Mustangs. Tate Kimball takes it in from 10 yards out to put the Mustangs up now 12-0 with 8:51 to go in the second period.
It's just a nice run. He kind of bounced off a couple of the initial hits and then powered it up. That's good to see Tate running hard, and glad to see that there was nothing wrong with him when he didn't go out there to start.
Yeah, I think they were just bringing up a little different formations than what they had shown. So Franny Gonzalez to do the point after. The kick is up, and we'll see if it's good. And it is, this time for Franny. So that puts the score now Fort Morgan 13, Evergreen nothing on B106 and B106.com. Back at Legion Field, where the Fort Morgan Mustangs have just gone up 13-0 after a 10-yard run by Tate Kimball over the left side. The PAT good by Franny Gonzalez. So Franny into kickoff for the Mustangs, as Evergreen has Tanner Kaysen and Keenan O'Hearn back to receive the kickoff.
And into this wind, I doubt we're going to get a touchback, but
so Franny puts his foot into it, kind of a wobbly kick, hits it about the 20. He's going to be picked up and then dropped at about the 18, then back out to the 25, out to the 30, 35. He breaks it back outside. He slips a tackle. He's out to the almost midfield. So the good field position for Evergreen as they get it out to Let's see if it's at midfield. It's going to be just short of midfield, so still in Cougar territory.
Yeah, Fort Morgan didn't do a very good job of covering that. It really turned out to be a nice kick. It kind of wobbled, and the kid had a hard time picking it up. But then once he picked it up, he was shifty and dodged back and forth. You know, when you get down to the quarterfinals of state, all the kids are pretty good, and all the teams are quality.
Yeah, handoff over the left side, and taken down in the backfield once again is Kaysen. It looks like Frank Rosales, Trey McBride, and maybe Austin Cosman in on that play. So that brings up a second, we'll call it 2nd and 11, I guess, from the 48.
Last week, Toby McBride was quoted in the Daily Camera, the Boulders paper, as saying that Fort Morgan had a lot of different blitz looks to confuse Holy Family, and I think that helped.
Pass out here to the right flat and well over the head of the intended receiver. I have no number for this kid. It's number 81, but it was over his head. Over his head. So they'll bring up a 3rd and 11 from the 48. So a nice job here by the Fort Morgan defense.
You would think by the time you get to the playoffs, you'd figure out all the kids that were going and have numbers for him, but. He's out there. I'm guessing that maybe he's one of the other receivers that.
So snap back, going to be passed over to the left side, and he is going to be down at the 40, but it will be enough for the first down.
He caught that with his knee on the ground. How did they let him get up and get forward progress on that?
So that's where they're going to mark it, as he found an open spot in the defense. They'll bring up a 1st and 10 for Evergreen from the Mustang 40. As they wind the clock here, 7:53 to go in the second period. Fort Morgan up 13-0.
And Fort Morgan defender was warned because he kind of came in high and made helmet-to-helmet contact with the quarterback, but nothing was called.
So shotgun formation, 2 receivers right, 1 left. It's going to be a handoff over the left side as he gets down to about the 35-yard line. So it'll be a gain of 5. So I'll bring up a 2nd and 5 from the 35. So Austin Cosman with the tackle. 2nd and 5 from the 35 of Fort Morgan. 2 receivers right, 2 left. Shotgun formation. Snap back, looks over here to the left side, and it's going to be complete at about the 31. It's going to be just short, I believe, of the first down. So that will bring up a 3rd and 1 from the 31. So Fort Morgan did a nice job there containing him not to get the first down, but it is a short yard here for the first down, as they need to get just to the 40 or to the 30-yard line. So 1 receiver left, 3-back backfield. It's going to be a handoff over the left side, and he's not going to make it. He didn't even get back to the line of scrimmage, as Fort Morgan brought everybody that time. So that's going to bring up a 4th and 2 from the 32. Nice job there by the linebackers coming in to fill, and they stopped the running back before he got to the line of scrimmage.
I imagine that's one of those things where they scouted it and they saw their tendencies, and they say every time they're short, they run to their left with that particular kid from that formation.
So a pitch out to the left side, but he's going to be taken down in the backfield by Trey McBride. On 4th down, Trey McBride in the backfield to bring him down at the 35-yard line. So the Mustang defense, once again,
that was
proves why they're up in the rankings in the defense for 3A.
And a lot of credit goes out to defensive coordinator. I believe that's Josh Langford for Fort Morgan. He's done a really good job of getting these kids to play as a cohesive unit and to listen to his game plans every week and to scout. And they believe in him, and it's good to see that.
So 1st and 10 from their own 35. Going to be a handoff over the left side, and Tate will get maybe a yard out to the 36. So that will bring up a 2nd and 9. as he was met at about the line of scrimmage, but did go forward about a yard.
Tough running against this interior Evergreen line. And you can't go undefeated unless you have good defense, so we kind of expected that.
So three-back backfield once again, tight formation, going to be handoff to Tate Kimball over the right side, and he is going to be maybe forward for just another yard. We'll see where they mark that. They had some good penetration from that left defensive side.
Maybe they're taking a book out of Fort Morgan's, play out of Fort Morgan's book and doing a little run blitzing and trying to shoot those gaps and catch him before he gets outside.
So we will give him a yard gain, so I'll bring up a 3rd and 8 from the 37. Down to 4:35 and counting here in the second period with the Mustangs up 13-0. So 3rd and 8, full house backfield for the Mustangs. He tries to draw him off, hand it to Tate Kimball over the left side again. He gets it out to the 40, but he's going to be short of the first down. So that's going to bring up a 4th and about 3. So we're going to see they're discussing it here on the sidelines. Yeah, they're going to send in the punting unit. So it is at about 4th and 3 from the 43-yard line.
First punt for Fort Morgan.
Evergreen has their man back at about the 20. It looks like that's Connor Solowetz. So Tate Kimball stands at his own 30. Snap back. Nice punt. It's going to be held up by the wind a little bit and taken at the 30-yard line, but then immediately taken down by Fort Morgan. So Evergreen to come back out on their next possession, and they will start at their own 30.
And Evergreen having pretty decent field position throughout this first half, but not able to capitalize on any of it. Having the missed field goal, and then last time getting stopped on 4th and 2.
So 1st and 10 for the Cougars. From their 30, snap back as he looks out to the left side. It's going to be complete. Oh, dropped. It was in and out of the hands of Marcus Kaysen. He had it and dropped it.
They have a nice timing passing offense where he just throws to a spot and the receiver cuts at the last minute. It's really hard to play defense against that. And now, of course, the wind's kind of died down and the snow's gone away, so that's going to play into their advantage.
So 2 receivers right and 1 left. Shotgun formation with a back on either side. It's going to be a handoff this time over the left side. He breaks it outside past the 30 and then taken down on that far sideline by Eric Kimball. And he will be just short of the 35, I believe. So it'll bring up a, let's see where they put it, at about the 33. Yeah, we'll call it 34. So 3rd and 6 after that run to the outside. Now 2 receivers right, 1 left again. Shotgun formation for Evergreen. Snap back, he looks out to the left, and it's going to be a skip pass, incomplete to his intended receiver, Seth Osman. So that'll bring up 4th down for the Evergreen Cougars.
And on that one, it obviously bounced before it even got to him, but yet the officials didn't blow the whistle while the ball's bouncing around. I can imagine how upset Evergreen would be if that bounced up and we intercepted that when it was obviously a bounce pass.
So 4th and 6 for Evergreen. Kyle Daniels, the lone man back for the Mustangs, is now they
got too many people in the backfield.
So snap back. Kind of a, not really a line drive, but Kyle Daniels at the 30. Stuttersteps at the 35. Slips the tackle out at the 35, and he breaks it back out across the 40. So twisting and turning is Kyle Daniels as he finally does get it out to about the 42-yard line. So it'll be a 1st and 10 from the 42 for the Mustangs.
Kyle making it exciting for the fans as he runs, but looked like he ran the wrong way. All the Fort Morgan blockers were close to us, and the whole Evergreen team over there he was trying to dodge.
Yeah, it looked like he had an open spot on this side, but in turn decided to go right instead of left.
Sometimes when you're trying to fake out 5 or 6 defenders, that's when someone gets a really good shot on you and you lose the football. So you have to really wrap up and just take your lumps in a situation like that.
So see, Fort Morgan now comes out in the I formation with Eric Kimball right and Kyle Daniels left. Handoff to the deep back, and not much there. Maybe back to the line of scrimmage, as Tate Kimball was the carrier, so that will bring up a 2nd and 10 from the 42 after the no gain. Their best offensive run plays have been that power with the 3 backs in the backfield with the 2 blockers to lead.
Right.
So we'll see if they go back to that on the 2nd and 10 with 1:55 to go here in the first half of play. I formation once again for the Mustangs. Schneider under center. It's going to be a handoff to Tate Kimball over the left side again, but there's nothing there, as he is going to not get back to the, he should have got back to about the 40. They're marking him back inside the 40. That'll bring up a 3rd down. We'll mark it at the 40, so that'll be a loss of 2, so 3rd and 12.
Yeah, they're playing a defense similar to Elizabeth figured out the 9th game of the season how to stop Tate by just having everybody flow. And Holy Family had some success with that last week, and it depends on the drive, because the first 2 drives in this drive we haven't had it, but the touchdown drive Tate was able to run with pretty much ease.
So full house backfield again. It's going to be handoff to Tate Kimball over the left side. He breaks the tackle at the 45, or at the 40, and then out to about the 40, just outside the 45-yard line. I think Evergreen has called a timeout. So we're going to take one with him here with 46 seconds left to go here in the first half, with Fort Morgan leading 13-0 on B106 and B106.com. Back here at Legion Field in Fort Morgan with Kevin Rohde. This is Brian Nickel, where the Mustangs are up 13-0 as they put a little more time back on the clock. So there is now 51 seconds left in the first half of play, as Fort Morgan is faced with a 4th and 6 from their own 45. So snap back to Tate, and off the side of his foot, and does go out of bounds at about the Cougar 32-yard line.
So 68 yards to go and about 45 seconds.
44.4. So we'll see if they're going to stop the clock for a reason. They want to try and get down and get on the board. So they're going to be passing the ball, I would presume. So 1st and 10 from the 32. Two receivers, right, left. Shotgun formation, snap back. He looks out to the left, out into the flat. Has some blocking out there. He gets it across the 40 and brought down at the 45. So that'll be enough for the first down for Evergreen as Marcus Kaysen gets it out to the 40, about the 46. So 37 seconds left to go here in the first half. Two receivers left and right again. Going to be a deep pass down the right sideline. Look like it's going to be almost caught. It was tipped, and the kid was laying on his back, Seth Osman, and almost caught it on the deflection, but it ended up falling to the ground for the incompletion.
That was very interesting play. We've seen some interesting bouncing balls out here, and it makes you wonder.
So I thought, from my perspective, I thought it was going to be out of bounds, and Morgan had a guy right in front of him that kind of deflected everything. So now a pass out here into the left flat, but it's going to be dropped again by Kaysen. So that's going to bring up a 3rd and 10 after the incomplete pass, and he was open for the catch.
They're not using much time, that's for sure.
We have 23.6 seconds left. They started out with 44.4 to start this drive. And they're down to 3rd and 10 from the 46. 2 receivers left, 2 receivers right. Shotgun formation with a back to his right. Snap back. He looks downfield, and he's being hounded. He breaks it outside. It's going to be a pass downfield and almost intercepted out of the hands of the Mustangs and falls incomplete. So that will bring up a 4th and 10 with 16 seconds left to go. So Evergreen will have to punt.
Yeah, that was kind of scary when he got around the side there. Toby wanted to get to him so bad he didn't really contain like he needed to.
It almost looked like he had room. He might have been able to pick up that first down, but we'll see what they try to pick this up with 16 seconds. They're in the they do throw it short, but he's going to be brought down in the backfield on the fake on the fake punt. So Fort Morgan will take over with 11 and a half seconds to go in Cougar territory at the 43-yard line.
Yeah, they tried that fake punt, and we kind of knew something was going because we have the privilege of being next door to the booth with the Evergreen coaches, and they were yelling, "It's open, it's open, it's open, it's open," and then they went for it, and they weren't very happy that Fort Morgan diagnosed it and put the hurt on them. But I'm guessing we're just going to down it and go in up by 2 scores.
Because we will get the ball to start the second half. So Fort Morgan does take a knee on it. So that will bring the first half of play to a close with the Fort Morgan Mustangs leading the Evergreen Cougars 13-0 on B106 and B106.com. Back with Kevin Rohde. This is Brian Nickel at halftime of the quarterfinal game here between the Evergreen Cougars and your Fort Morgan Mustangs, with the Mustangs leading 13-0. It's Evergreen, if you don't know, they come out of the 3A Metro North League. They were undefeated this year at 11-0. Conifer also came out of that league this year. They were 8-3 overall. So the other teams that are left in the 3A games are Delta. They're from the 3A Western Slope. Discovery Canyon is out of the Southern League. Pueblo East is out of the South Central League. Evergreen comes to us from the Metro North, as I said. Roosevelt is in the 3A Northern, and Rifle is also out of the 3A Western Slope League over there. So as of last night, Palisade, as Kevin said earlier, got beat last night. So that takes one of the Western Slope teams out of the picture.
Another score I saw last night, I happened to be checking. I grew up in Boulder, played for Boulder High. Fairview, our arch rival across town, they were in the quarterfinals. And you don't see this normally in the quarterfinals, but Ralston Valley spanked them 73-21 or something like that. And I'm like, how do you let someone score 73 on you when you're that far into the playoffs? But congratulations to Ralston Valley. Big showdown next week between Valor Christian and Cherry Creek to see who gets to go to the state playoffs or state final, because Dave Logan's Cherry Creek knocked off Valor early in the season. And I'm sure Valor looking for some paybacks in the playoffs. Yeah,
they're playing pretty good ball right now. So, but as I was looking at some of my notes here on these Evergreen, they had averaged 37 points a game and only given up 8 points a game on defense. They were I believe the number 1 defense in 3A. They gave up 88 points. Fort Morgan was at number 2, giving up 89 points. Fort Morgan was averaging 41 points a game. So the defenses have come to play today.
Taking nothing from Fort Morgan's offense, but you look at the teams we played, and we scored all those points in the first half, and a lot of them were on defensive turnovers and punt returns. We just thoroughly thrashed a lot of those teams. Hapless might be too harsh of a term, but they couldn't put up much of a fight even. And so I think Fort Morgan's offense is a little inflated. I think really what's carried the day for Fort Morgan has been the defense, and we're seeing that in the playoffs as they shut down Holy Family and hold them to 3 scores, and so far scoreless here for Evergreen.
And I'm not sure that Evergreen came out of a real strong conference either. Besides Conifer at 8-3, D'Evelyn was 5-5. Thomas Jefferson was 5-5. Centaurus was 3-7, and Arvada was 0-10. So both teams playing in kind of some weak conferences here, but their defense is what's carried them, and that's what's carrying the Mustangs right now in this game, leading 13-0.
And the Mustangs scurrying, at least the non-starters scurrying for those sideline jackets as they came out of the warm halftime shed. And you get that sweat going first half, and you're feeling good. You go and warm up a little bit, and you get a little sweaty. You come out, and it's a lot colder second half. And hopefully Fort Morgan's ready to go toe-to-toe and smack Evergreen in the mouth and finish this game strong.
Yeah, it'd be nice if we get this opening kickoff here and march down the field for another touchdown and put this at a 3-score game. So.
And it seems like the wind has picked up. The piece of trash blowing across the field is mostly straight towards Fort Morgan's goal, but there's a little bit of a cross to it, and maybe that's why Fort Morgan's not passing. So far they haven't had to. If you're up, by 2 scores, I don't think you necessarily have to run or pass. You keep with what brought you here. You try to get a couple first downs, play field position, and make them beat you. I think that's a good strategy so far for the Mustangs.
Yeah. As long as you have a nice, strong defense, you rely on that defense to stop that their offense, and it's been working well. So
absolutely, and in days like this that you got to really appreciate those guys from the Fort Morgan Volunteer Fire Department that are out here running the chain gangs. They're all bundled up over there. I hope they got a cup of hot cocoa during the half, and they'll make it through the third and fourth quarter.
I'd also like to give a shout-out to Rick Lapp and his crew to get the field ready for today's game as they've done all year. The field is always in excellent condition, so big thanks to Rick Lapp and his crew that come out every year, every game, and every year whenever need to get the field in tip-top shape.
And we need to keep this in tip-top shape for hopefully one more game.
I guess we had a score from, I guess it would be a non-score score from Rifle and Roosevelt at halftime, and they are scoreless up along the front range. So another defensive battle going on in 3A.
Rifle had a good game last week, if I remember right. I can't remember the score, but
I think they beat Northridge 61-13 or something. Or
I think they play football over there on the western slope.
Yeah.
And Palisade had a great run. They knocked off undefeated Lutheran, and you come up against the number 1 team after playing the number 5 team, and sometimes it's hard to win 2 on the road. Or I guess they had that at home or against Pueblo East.
Yeah. So Davis Price set to kick off to the Mustangs. Puts his foot into a nice kick. Kyle Daniels will take it out to 5. Up the middle to the 15, to the 20, around the right side, across the 20, the 25. Still on his feet across the 30. And finally taken out of bounds over on the far sideline. So nice return by Daniels as he takes it almost 25 yards, 27 yards out to the 32-yard line. So nice job by Kyle Daniels to take that second half kickoff back out to the 32.
Especially on a windy day, and field position is so huge, and to get that out for the shadow of your goal facing that wind was a good job.
So I formation for the Mustangs. Going to be handoff up the middle and keeping his feet. Oh, he dropped the ball, and the Cougars ended up with it. It came out of the hands of Toby McBride. He wasn't even hit. As he turned, the ball came loose and up in the air, and it was taken by Evergreen. So a turnover here to start this second half. So 1st and 10, Evergreen from the 36-yard line.
We've talked about how Toby, he's a gamer, and he just keeps going and going and going, and sometimes that little extra effort on a cold day like this, that ball can slip out, and how unfortunate for him. And I'm sure he's going to try and make up for it on defense when he gets back out there. I don't think they have him in for this. Yep, there he is. He's going to make up for it. Right.
So 2 receivers right, 1 left. It's going to be a handoff up the middle, and he breaks it around the right side. But he is going to be brought down by a host of Mustangs at about the 36-yard lines for a no gain, as Trey McBride and Richard Herrera and Jacob Fritzler in on the tackle. So they'll bring up a 2nd and 10 for the Evergreen Cougars after they recover the fumble.
And a nice 3 and out, stuff them, and it would really help out here.
So 2nd and 10. Snap back, looks downfield, looks over the middle, and intercepted by Austin Cosman at the 30. Caught the backside of that ball, but a nice pick by Austin Cosman at the 30.
Well, that couldn't have come at a handier time, and I'm sure Toby's going to pat him on the back and say thanks a lot for getting me out of that. And Fort Morgan takes over 1st and 10.
1st and 10 with 11:02 to go here in the 3rd period. So back-to-back turnovers. First by Fort Morgan and then by Evergreen. So 1st and 10 for Fort Morgan at the 29. It's going to be a handoff over the right side to Tate Kimball, and he breaks it outside across the 30, the 35, and he's going to get enough for the first down if he can hang on to the ball. And he does hang on as they're ripping at the ball, but he does get it out to the 40. So 11-yard gain for Tate Kimball. So a 1st and 10 at the 40.
We needed that to get a little more breathing room. And that's why you need those football players in that weight room, even the running backs, so that when they get in those scrums, they can hold on to that ball and not let it go.
So I formation once again for the Mustangs. Handoff again to Tate Kimball over the left side, but he is hit initially in the backfield and then will be hit again. So he'll be brought down for about a yard loss. Back to the 39. So a 2nd and 11 back to the 39. It seems like their running power has been better to the right than it has been to the left.
Right. And I think it's also been better to to the open side of the field.
So 2nd and 11 from the 39. I formation once again for the Mustangs. It's a handoff to Tate Kimball, but he's going to be hit in the backfield once again. So right now Evergreen is winning that battle on the line. So that will be a no gain. So that'll bring up a 3rd and 11 from the 39 for Fort Morgan. So the Fort Morgan Mustangs face a 3rd and 11. I formation once again for the Mustangs. Eric Kimball split wide right. It's going to be a handoff to Toby McBride up the middle, but he is going to go maybe for about 3. So that's going to bring up about a 4th and 8 from the 42. So Fort Morgan being real conservative here, not trying to throw into that wind, is that the wind is picked up once again, and snow starting to fall again here at Legion Field. So Tate Kimball back to punt for the Mustangs. As Connor Solowetz, and I can't see who the other guy is back to receive the punt. But a nice left-footed punt by Tate Kimball. Hits about the 30 and then goes out of bounds inside the 30 at about the 27.
That's some great field position football there. And now we'll let our defense take over and keep them from getting too far.
So first down for Evergreen from the, I said the 37. Actually, it's the 27 inside the 30.
And on that last punt, Eric Kimball somehow got his face mask torn off and comes to the side carrying his face mask. Now they're going to have to play one down without him.
So it looks like they have Dawson Frick in at that right defensive end. So shotgun formation for Evergreen, 2 receivers right and left as they look a quick pass over the left side, but only for a gain of about 2 out to the 30. So second and down, we'll call it a gain of 2 out to the 30. So they'll bring up a 2nd and 8 for Evergreen with 8:20 and counting here in the third period. Eric Kimmel back at his right defensive end. Going to be pass out here to the left side once again, but incomplete. Nice defense by Richard Herrera. He was right on that defender, or right on the receiver, Keenan O'Hearn.
And it's got to be hard catching that ball, looking back into that snow blowing in your eyes, and the ball's coming zinging in, and your hands sting a little bit. It's interesting watching the line. All of a sudden, their line have about 5-foot splits. They're huge gaps, and Fort Morgan's defensive line. We're not blitzing right now. We're back in coverage, and we're just sending like 3 guys on the rush. And
so shotgun once again, looking downfield, looking over the middle of the field, and it's going to be caught this time at the 45-40 and down at the Fort Morgan 27-yard line. That was taken in by O'Hearn as Rifus laid that right out over the top, and O'Hearn pulled it in at about the 40 and takes it down to about the 27-yard line. So 1st and 10 from the 27 after that completion. So one receiver split wide left, 2 right. Shotgun formation with a back on either side of Rifus. It's going to be a handoff up the middle. He gets it down to the 25 and about down to the 20, maybe down to the 24, so that'll be a gain of 3. So I'll bring up a 2nd and 7 from the 24 for Evergreen. So we'll see what they come out here to try to do here to try to get themselves on the board. And Fort Morgan is going to try and keep them out of the end zone here, try to keep this shutout going here. They have 2 receivers left and 1 right, tight end on the right side. Going to be a fake handoff and then caught out of bounds, or caught now. It was caught and then pushed out of bounds at about the 6, maybe about the 7. So that was a completion to Seth Osman. And that will be 1st and 10 from about the 12 for the Cougars of Evergreen, as they're taking advantage of this wind at their back.
Fort Morgan seems to be happy to sit back and rush 3 or 4. I think they're going to have to change up that strategy. And
so pass out here to the left side. It's going to be complete and just short of the end zone, but complete to O'Hearn. So that'll bring up a 1st and goal for Evergreen at about the 2. So we will see if the Fort Morgan Mustangs can keep Evergreen out of the end zone. Evergreen's taking a lot of time here to get their play in. We're down to 6:30 and counting here in the 3rd period. As they come out with a tight formation, 1 receiver split wide left. It's going to be a handoff over the middle, but no gain, and he is stuffed in the backfield. So that's going to be a gain of nothing. So that'll bring up a 2nd and goal from the 2 for Evergreen as they tried to go up the middle on the Mustangs, and there was nothing there. Alex Mai and Nate Cage in the middle there. Jacob Fritzler, linebacker, filling in. So we'll see what Evergreen has up their sleeves now. They have a receiver split right. Now it's going to be a handoff over the left side, and I don't believe he got in. They're going to go up there and mark it. He's still going to be short.
Yeah, he didn't get a yard.
So that's going to be 3rd down. And still about 2, as they're marking it still at about the 2-yard line. So,
it was never 1st down.
Oh, really?
So that was actually 4th down.
Well, I was, Okay.
Now they're going to come measure, and if we hold here, what a huge moral victory that is.
I missed it down there someplace. They must not have got in on that. They're short.
Yeah.
I think it's 4th down
now.
It's 4th down. Yeah, I believe it's 4th down now.
Well, but they had first and 10.
Because on the pass, they got the 1st down. And they've had 3 straight runs. So that'll bring up a 4th and goal again.
Okay, I was hoping, I guess. Well, if it was 1st and goal at the 2 off that pass, then why are they measuring it? Because the pass got them down to the 2, and that was the first down.
Yeah, they've had 3 straight runs, though, of no gain.
After the pass, that got them down here.
Right, but that was the first down.
And then 3 straight runs is 2nd, 3rd, and 4th.
Well, the pass got them the first down. That was first down.
Why would they measure on?
I think they were. Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
So Fort Morgan may have just jumped off sides on the hard count.
Well, someone didn't count right because they didn't get the first down on that pass play, and therefore that was the 3 runs were 2nd, 3rd, and 4th down.
So we'll see what the penalty is if it's going against. So that does bring up, the penalty was against Fort Morgan, so that will bring up a 1st and goal.
Oh, that's still not making sense because they had 1st and 10 at the 12. They threw down to the 2. We all thought it was a first down, but it wasn't. Because if it was a first down, they wouldn't have the sticks still there.
So 1st down for Evergreen as they take it. We'll see if he gets into the end zone or not. And they do give him the touchdown. I believe it was Rifus takes it in from a yard out for the touchdown to bring the score now to 13-6. As Rifus goes in from the yard out. So Davis will be in to try the point after. Snip, the kick is up and it is good. So that brings the score now to 13-7. Fort Morgan with 4:28 to go in the 3rd period. You're listening to Fort Morgan Mustangs football on B106 and B106.com. Back at Legion Field in Fort Morgan where the Mustangs are still leading 13-7. The Evergreen Cougars just took it in from 1 yard out.
Fort Morgan's going to have to figure out a way to answer. They can't just go 3 out or get 1 first down and out and turn this ball over to the hot Evergreen offense.
So Davis, Price to kick off to the Mustangs. Tate Kimball, Kyle Daniels deep for the Mustangs. As he approaches, it's going to be a short kick. Taken by Fluoff at the 20. Skips outside to the 25, to the 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. Down to the 45. He holds on to that ball. No flags on the ground. So nice job by Fluoff as he kind of tiptoed along this south sideline, and he gets down into Cougar territory at about the 43-yard line or so. So an excellent run back by Fluoff.
That was very nice, and that really helps out Mustangs. You'll start off in field position, but they still need to be able to cover these 42 yards and get down and score, or at least get close enough for Frandy to kick a chip shot field goal and make this a 2-possession game again.
So Fort Morgan coming out in their power formation, 3 backs in the backfield, Snyder under center. Handoff to Frank Rosales over the right side, but he is met in the backfield by Brendan Harmon. So a loss on the play of about 2 back to the 44. So I'll bring up a 2nd and 12.
A little shift in momentum here, and the Mustangs are going to have to do something to answer this.
So they come out once again in their tight formation. 3-back backfield. Oh, missed the handoff, so Schneider has the ball across the... He's going to get back maybe to the original line of scrimmage. But they didn't. They missed the connection on the handoff. So that's going to bring up a 3rd and 10 now for Fort Morgan. Back at about the... Well, it's going to be the 43, so that's going to be about 3rd and 11. So we'll see what Fort Morgan can come up with here. They're in a shotgun formation. 3 receivers, right, 1 left. It's kind of a high snap. Schneider throws it out here to the right flat. He's wide open at the 30, 25. It's Richard Herrera, and he will get enough for the first down as he drags the defender down to about the 31-yard line. So Fort Morgan comes up with the first down on a pass from Schneider to Richard Herrera out in the right flat. So 1st and 10 from the 32 for Fort Morgan. So nice job there by the Mustang offense. As Herrera does go out of bounds, it stops the clock with 2:55 to go in the third period. High formation once again for the Fort Morgan Mustangs with Kimball right and Daniels left. Going to be a handoff to Tate Kimball over the left side. He gets no wear down field as he hits the back of his blocker, and then loses a couple yards back to the 34.
Yeah, that play was blown up by the defensive end for Evergreen, 44. He's one of their studs.
Jacob Ronder.
He's the guy that broke through and made the tackle for a loss earlier.
So high formation once again for the Mustangs. Schneider under center. As he takes it, he's going to be a play action. He rolls out to his right. It's going to be a pass and caught. It dropped. It was in and out of the hands of Eric Kimball, I believe, at about the 25. So it'll bring up a 3rd and 12 from the 34 after that incomplete pass. So let's see what Fort Morgan can come up with here. They're almost it's almost 4 down territory because they're too close to punt if they don't make it.
I don't know. I'd almost punt and get the 14 yards out of it. With field position and wind, and we're about ready to switch, and they'll have to go into the wind a lot farther. But playoff football, you need to make catches like that last one, and unfortunately let it slip between his fingers. And
we just moved on the left. Austin Cosman took off too soon, so that's going to add another 5. So that's going to bring up a 3rd and 17 for Fort Morgan. They've got to keep their concentration here. That now will come back to the 39-yard line.
And this is where, again, mistakes are what decide games when you're playing quality opponents.
So Kyle Daniels into the game for the Mustangs. Toby McBride comes out on the sideline. Now we have 3 receivers right, 1 left. Shotgun formation for Fort Morgan. It's going to be a draw play, and he's going to be brought down behind the line of scrimmage at about the 41-yard line. So that's going to be a loss of 2. So that's going to bring up about a 4th and 19 from the 41.
And now that makes it easier to make that decision to punt when you have 4th and 20 instead of, 4th and 7 or something.
So Tate Kimball to punt for the Mustangs.
Let's see him put it out at about the 5. That would please me and Coach Chisholm.
So snap back to Tate. Line drive kick lands about the 20 and picked up. It's going to be down. He's going to be down at about the 17-yard line as his knee was down when he tried to pick the ball up.
There's not a lot of really good communication among these officials. The sideline judge is blowing his whistle, and the back judge is just watching him run downfield like it's live. And luckily, that sideline judge caught him. He went down on the knee to pick up the ball.
So it'll be 1st and 10 now for Evergreen. They'll still have about a minute 18 with their wind kind of at their back. So 1:18 to go here in the third period. 2 receivers left, 2 right. Shotgun formation as he looks out to his left, is going to be out into the flat, and he breaks the tackle, gets it out across the 25, out to across the 30. So not real good tackling here by the Mustangs as Marcus Kaysen takes it out. Somebody's down for the Mustangs at about the 25. Can't tell. It's Richard Herrera down at the 25-yard line, but that will bring up enough for a first down, so that will be a 1st and 10 for the Cougars out at the 30-yard line.
As you said, Brian, Fort Morgan had that diagnosed. They had 2 or 3 guys back there as he was catching the ball, and how he got through, just a great play by that young man. But Fort Morgan's got to wrap up, especially on a cold day like this. Got to focus on fundamentals. We can't let Evergreen come down and score. We've got to have a stop on defense here.
So 3 receivers left, 1 right. Shotgun formation with the back to his right. snap back. He looks out to his left, out in the flat. It's going to be over the head. Oh, it's going to be caught by the defender, and he's going to, at the 30, at the 25, and he takes it clear down to the Mustang 20-yard line. So Evergreen finding their passing game right now, as they will be set up at the 20 of Fort Morgan. And it's a beautiful pass. I mean, the defender for Fort Morgan was right there. He had to extend his hands out to catch that ball, and there's not much you can do when when they put that ball out there on it like that. So,
well, the only fault I find is he let the defender or the offensive guy get behind him. And yeah, he made him throw the perfect pass over the top, but if you're behind him, that pass isn't going to be caught.
So 3 receivers right. Going to be a quick pass out here to the right flat, out about the 20. Down, nice tackle by Isaiah Lopez as he brings him down at the 16-yard line. So that's going to be a gain of about 4. So I'll bring up a 2nd and 6 from the 16 for Evergreen.
Fort Morgan has kind of totally abandoned the blitz, and they don't even have anyone on the right side of the line.
So pass out here to the right flat, and the receiver cut in, and the pass went out. So an incomplete pass. Austin Cosman was down for a moment, but that will bring the end to the third period with Fort Morgan leading 13-7 on B106 and B106.com. 3rd and 6 for Evergreen as they pass out here to the left flat, and it's knocked down by Trey McBride. So this will bring up a 4th and 6 now for Evergreen. We'll see if they go for it or if they try a field goal. This is see what they want to do here. But a nice job by Trey McBride off that right defensive end. 4th and 6 for Evergreen as they will go for it.
Yeah, into this wind, you have to go for it. You need a touchdown to tie and then hopefully go ahead on the extra point.
So 2 receivers left, 2 right, snap back. And Fort Morgan trying to put the pressure on, and the ball is going to be incomplete.
And it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. He was ball short of the first down anyway. He might have caught it. But nice pressure by the defense of the Mustangs. It was caught at about the 12. But
all the officials gathering around to
we're going to see what their
flags.
Incomplete pass.
Good call.
So nice job there by the rush of the defense of Fort Morgan to flush Rifus out of the pocket. So now the Mustangs will need to put a drive here of some type, of try to get down and get in the end zone once again. But they start deep in their territory at about the 16. So handoff up the middle by Toby, and he's out almost to the 25. Does get out to the 25, so it's going to be about a yard short of the first down. So nice job there by Toby McBride hanging on to that ball. So 2nd and 1 from the 25.
And he's doing a little better job of holding on the ball that carry, and he carried, well, him and the offensive line carried 3 or 4 defenders downfield on that.
So tight formation once again for the Mustangs. It's going to be a handoff up the middle. And we're trying to see, they get it out to there's a Rosales. Nice job by Rosales as he gets it out across the 35 to the 36. So just what the doctor ordered here for the Mustangs. Get this running game going. See if they can keep it up here. So a 1st and 10 for the Mustangs at the 36-yard line. So gain of 11 on that run by Frank Rosales. So tight formation once again for the Mustangs as they line up in the powerhouse formation. Toby McBride over the left side again, and he is going to get it maybe a yard. Let's see where the clock continues to run. They may give him a yard out to the 37. We'll see where they come back and mark it. We'll put it at the 37. We'll give him a gain of 1. So 2nd and 9 from the 37 for the Mustangs. We'll see if they try to bust one outside here with Tate, but powerhouse formation for the Mustangs once again. With Schneider under center. Handoff over the left side, but as he was handing it off, the back slipped to the ground. But he does get it out to the 40. So third down, third and about 6, it looks like, from the 40.
That was Fritzler in on that one.
So everybody getting a little shot here at carrying the ball this afternoon. 9:42 and counting here in the fourth period with the Mustangs up 13-7. But they do face a 3rd and 6 from their own 40-yard line. Schneider under center once again. It's a handoff to Rosales, I believe, and he's going to be brought down at the 40. So a no gain. So that's going to bring up a 4th and 6 once again for the Mustangs as they try to go to the right side. And nothing there. So they will have to punt once again.
And they didn't turn over the ball, which is a plus. And they used up some of the time, and they got a little better field position. But I agree with you, they need to get a couple more first downs to really give this defense a chance to rest up and come out fired up.
So Evergreen receivers back about the 25. Nice punt by Tate Kimball. He drives him back to the 20. But he did fair catch it. So he will take it at the 20. So nice punt by Tate Kimball.
What a great time for Tate's punting to come back and hit well, well-timed high punt, and because he had to back up, he called the fair catch so he wouldn't have to worry about, anything, and good play by him to be able to catch the ball, because otherwise it was going to bounce down inside the 10 and possibly be down there.
So Evergreen, 1st and 10 from their own 20. Be a nice time here for another turnover.
Sure would, or a nice deep sack.
So 2 receivers left and 1 right, that's for sure. And a shotgun formation, snap back. He looks out here to the right side and caught. Nice defense by Eric Fluoff, but he does get it out across the 31-yard line, so that will be enough for a first down. So the quick slants across the middle worked that time for the Cougars, as that brings up a 1st and 10 from their own 31. So 2 receivers right and 2 left once again. Shotgun formation for Evergreen. Snap back. He looks out to the right now this time. The pass is going to be well behind his intended receivers. Closest person to the ball was Justin Pineda, and it was even well behind him. But that does stop the clock. So they'll bring up a 2nd and 10 from the 31.
We did catch a score off the internet that Rifle was up 8-0 against Roosevelt, which, if that holds, means that we'd be traveling to Rifle next week. So come back, Roosevelt, please.
So 2nd and 10 for Evergreen, as they now have 3 receivers left and 1 right. Shotgun formation, snap back, looks out here to the left, and it's going to be caught by Kaysen and then taken down immediately at about the 37-yard line. So that's going to be a gain of about 6. So that will bring up 3rd and 4 from the 36 for Evergreen. They put it at almost the 37. There's still almost 4 yards to go.
Need a big stand here. I don't know if it's quite the 4 down territory for Evergreen, but it's got to be getting close.
Down to 7:48 in the fourth period. 2 receivers right and 1 left. Shotgun formation. And it's a little pitch inside, and he gets away at the 40, the 45, the 50, down to the 45. It was a shovel pass to O'Hearn, and he takes it down to the 41-yard line of Fort Morgan.
And we had a hit on him inside there, and just didn't get enough of them.
So Evergreen keeps their drive alive. Fort Morgan needs to come up with a stand here. And now 1st and 10 for Evergreen. 2 receivers right, 1 left. Shotgun formation is going to be a handoff over the left side, and he gets maybe a yard down to the 40. So that'll bring up a 2nd and 9 from the 40-yard line.
Still playing great defense there on the run.
So down to almost 7 minutes to go here in the fourth period, with the Mustangs still leading 13-7. So 2 receivers right, 2 left, shotgun formation. Gets the snap, looks back, knocked down at the line of scrimmage by Toby McBride. He jumps up and knocks that ball down. So 3rd and 9, it was going to be another slant pass coming in from the right side, but Toby knocks that to the ground. So brings up 3rd and 9 from the 40 for Evergreen. So 2 more, we can get another couple of stops here would be great. So
yeah, I think they're probably far enough that if they get any yards at all, they're going to definitely go on 4th down at this point.
So 2 receivers right and 2 left. Looks out here to his left. Going to be a pass down the left sideline, and it's going to be out of bounds. He was caught, but then out of bounds, so that brings up 4th down and 9, as he was double covered down there at about the 12-yard line.
So do you bet your game on one play here, or do you punt and figure that your defense to stop Fort Morgan? They're going with that punt.
They're going to punt.
Unless they're going to fake it again, we'll know before they will.
They've been pretty quiet this second half, so we'll see what...
Actually, looks like it's pretty nice out there since we can't see which way the wind's blowing.
Wind's kind of... It looks like it's almost right out of the north. I'm trying to gauge by the street there. It's almost right straight out of the north. So, but they do set up in a punt formation, but they do have 2 receivers right and left. But it is snapped back to the punter. Nice high. It's going to be kind of a short kick, and it is a short kick. So it will be Fort Morgan's ball at about the 22. So didn't get out of it what they wanted to. With 6:31 to go here in the fourth period. So a nice time for the Mustangs to go on a 6-minute and 31-second drive, whether they score or not, as long as they take up that clock.
Absolutely. And I think they're going to have to, be a little more creative. You don't want to be too crazy, but if you're conservative and you don't get the first down, you might as well try a reverse or something and not get the first down.
So 1st and 10, handoff up the middle, and there's nothing there for the runners right now. That was Frank Rosales once again for no gain. So they'll bring up a 2nd and 10 from the 22 for the Mustangs.
Yeah, as long as they don't respect our pass, they're going to be bringing 8, 9 guys up into the box. And I'm thinking a little dump off to Trey, releasing downfield might work, but that's kind of a tough call to make when you're ahead and the weather's the way it is.
So powerhouse formation once again for the Mustangs. Schneider under center. Going to be a handoff to Tate Kimball around the left side as he tries to break it out, gets it across the 25, out to almost the 30. It's going to be down at about the 29, it looks like. So that will bring up a 3rd and short. Let's see where they finally mark that at. I'm going to put it at the 39-yard line, or 29-yard line. I'm getting too far ahead of myself here. So it's going to bring up about a 3rd and 3. For Fort Morgan here with 5:22 to go. This is where they need to be able to run that ball and get this first down. Power formation for the Mustangs to take Kimball around this left side. He tries to break it out. He's going to be hit out the 25, breaks the tackle, but he is going to be brought down short of the first down, about where the line of scrimmage was. So 4th down again for the Mustangs as that clock runs at 4:56.
I guess you have to give Evergreen credit. They, as you said, they're one of the top defensive teams in the state, and they're certainly showing it tonight or today.
So Fort Morgan 2 punt with Connor Solowitz and teammate back at their own 40. So we need another nice punt here by Tate Kimball. So he gets his foot into it. Nice kick by Tate as it drives him back to the 30. He drops the ball and goes down on an excellent job by Kimball as it drives him back. Then he fumbles it, and it will be 1st and 10 for Evergreen from their own about 16-yard line.
Yeah, long field for Evergreen is just what we needed, and now Fort Morgan's going to have to not let them have those 40-yard passes that they kind of let them get away with last time.
So first and 10, we're going to call it the 17. First and 10 from the 17. So a nice job by Tate Kimball to get the field position switched. So we have two receivers, right to left, shotgun formation for Rifus. So he gets the snap, looks downfield. It's going to be incomplete. Looks like it was off the hands possibly of Connor Solowitz. So second and 10 from the 17 on that incomplete pass. They're doing a cross there where they have two guys lined up and one guy cuts in, the other cuts out. Maybe kind of a rub play there. But it was incomplete anyway with 4:19 to go. With the Mustangs still leading 13-7 in a hard-fought quarterfinal game here in Fort Morgan. So two receivers left and two right. Shotgun formation for Evergreen. So he gets the snap back and he has gets the pass off and going to be complete and taken out to about the 26-yard line. So that pass was complete on that slant from the left side. So that will bring up a third and about 2 from the 26-yard line. Just outside the 25. So receivers 2 to the right, 1 to the left. Rifus in the shotgun formation with her back on either side. Fort Morgan bringing some players, and it's going to be they get out of that tackle and they will get the first down. So they will have enough for the first down just outside of the 30. I was trying to think. It looked like Austin Cosman may have had him in his grips and let him go. So that will bring up a first and 10 from the 31. After that 5-yard run, down to 3:27 and counting here. Fourth period.
And they don't seem to be any kind of hurry. In fact, they're kind of disorganized.
We'll see if they start putting some balls down deep here in a minute. Shotgun formation is pass out. It looks like that could be a live ball. And we're going to see if Fort Morgan got on it. I think that was a lateral, and it is. Fort Morgan recovers.
And that's a huge play for him to throw a lateral like that in that play, and then the offensive guy didn't even try for it. Wow, that's huge.
Oh, that's big. With 3:05 to go here left in the game, Fort Morgan will take over at the Evergreen 25-yard line. Yeah, that was a lateral out there. I don't know if they were going to try to throw back, have a double throw on that play, or what it was, but...
well, you think it was supposed to be a double throw that the defensive guy for Evergreen would have went and jumped on it right away because he would have known for sure that wasn't supposed to be out there.
Yeah, I'm glad Fort Morgan figured that out. So powerhouse formation over the right side. Tate Kimball gets it down inside the 25, down to about the 22 or 3-yard line. So 2:53 to go here. And counting, and Evergreen not trying to stop the clock here right now. I don't think they've taken any timeouts this half. But we're down to 2:40 and counting with Fort Morgan second and about 8 from the 23. So powerhouse again for Fort Morgan to take Kimball over the left side. If they can get some blocks out there, we've got a flag, so there may be a hold, and that may be coming back as he gets it down inside the 20.
But they may want to take the play because he didn't get very far. They'd rather have it be third down than second and long.
Because that'll just take more time off the clock if they set him back. We'll see what they want to do. Because the penalty was out about the line of play. We'll move him back.
I think the coach was out getting ready to tell him to decline it, and the captain already took the penalty. So Fort Morgan will take that, I think.
Yeah, run some more time off the clock. So that will be now second down from the 32. They have to get to about the 15-yard line. So it's going to be about a second and 18 or so. Powerhouse formation for the Mustangs once again. It's going to be a pass. Oh, he was hit as he threw it, and it's going to be intercepted by Evergreen at the 20. But Joey Snyder was hit from the back as he let go of that ball. So a turnover here by Fort Morgan.
And I'm guessing that's why they haven't passed all game. Perfect opportunity, but wow. That gives Evergreen the ball and the momentum. And
2 minutes and 3 seconds to get downfield.
So I think realistically they could have got it down to about a minute, or at least made them use their timeouts before we had to give the ball over to them.
So 1st and 10 for Evergreen as they send 2 receivers left and 2 right. Shotgun formation once again for Evergreen. Snap back, he looks over to his right, going to look way downfield, and nothing there. As he rolls out to his right, it's going to be a pass down the left sideline. It's going to be intercepted. Almost intercepted by Herrera. Herrera was wanting to pass interference on the offense, but as it is, it will be a incomplete pass. And that's what Coach Chisholm is also arguing about. There should have been an offensive pass interference as he was pulling Herrera down when he was trying to catch the ball.
And he actually pushed off to get some distance before he realized the ball was thrown short. So
2nd and 10 for the Cougars from their 22-yard lines. 2 receivers left, 2 right. Shotgun formation. Snap back. Looks out to his right. It's out into the left flat. It's going to be taken and then tackled at about the 27 by Richard Herrera.
And that's the play we'll give them because that just keeps the clock running and just what we needed.
So we're down to 1:38 with the ball at the 30-yard line. Going to bring up about a 3rd and 3. From the 30, 3 receivers left. Going to be a pass out here into the flat. One-handed catch. And then taken down. See if he does finally go down. But he will be short of the first down. Out at the... They're going to mark him down at about the 27. But Evergreen does take a timeout, so we're going to take one with them here with 1:14 to go. Fort Morgan 13, Evergreen 7 on B106 and B106.com. The Fort Morgan Mustangs lead 13-7. Evergreen has the ball with a 4th and about 4 with 1:14 to go here in the 4th period in this quarterfinal game.
We just got a score. Delta's ahead 15-0 with 3 minutes left, and Roosevelt looks like the championship goes through Rifle. Sorry, not Delta.
That's all right. 2 receivers left, 2 right. Shotgun formation. He looks out to the right, and then he keeps looking. Nobody there. It's going to be a pass down the right sideline, and it's going to be incomplete.
And that's what we needed. Complete Fort Morgan ball.
Fort Morgan ball. I believe it was Justin Pineda right in front of the Evergreen receiver. So we have 1:07 left in this ball game.
Evergreen has at most 2 timeouts left. So I think we can run it out.
So first down for Fort Morgan after they hold Evergreen on that 4th down play. So that will bring up a 1st and 10 for the Mustangs from the 28-yard line. So here we go with 1:07 to go. Powerhouse formation for the Mustangs. Hand off to Tate Kimball over the left side. And he breaks the tackle and gets down inside the 30. And now they're going to call a timeout for Rifle. Rifle. I'm already looking forward to next weekend, I guess.
I got you started on the wrong names.
So it will be a timeout by Evergreen. That's who we're playing today. So that will bring up a 2nd down, and they have it. That was a loss of about 2 back to the 30. So that will bring up a 2nd and 12.
But he ran around long enough to use up quite a bit of the time.
We got down to 56.5 seconds with now 2nd and about 11 from the 30, 11 or 12.
1 minute. 1 minute on the clock.
So we're going to put it back to 1 minute. Apparently it ran just a little bit long. They do have a 1 minute set back on the clock.
Fort Morgan faithful pounding the bleachers. They're happy. The Evergreen fans are a little bit in shock. They've got to realize, they came here and played. Was it here or down in Evergreen that we played them?
We played him here for the state championship game. So a handoff to Frank Rosales over the left side. He breaks the tackle somewhat, but he gets it down to about the 26. Evergreen, will use their last timeout of this half.
Again, good hard running, covering up the ball. Rosales has really come on this last part of the season.
So it's about a 3rd and 7 from the 26-yard line.
And so if we don't get a first down, we'll end up having to punt. But I don't know. How much time is on the clock?
There is 53.4 seconds left.
Not enough for him to wind around and try and run for 50 seconds to use it up.
He's fast, but we'll see where Fort Morgan is 53.4 seconds away from going to the semifinals in 3A football since 2008. So powerhouse formation once again for the Mustangs. Schneider under center, and Evergreen's bringing everybody, and he is hit in the backfield as they tried to rip the ball. Kaysen tried to rip the ball out of, was that Tate Kimball?
No, he was
Rosales. Tried to rip it out of his hands, and nice job by Rosales to hang on. So that will bring up a 4th and 7 from about the 27. So we'll see what Fort Morgan wants to do here. This clock runs. We're down to under 30 seconds.
And why not take the 5-yard penalty? You're not going to punt it any farther out of the end zone. But then again...
So we're down to 20 seconds here. I don't know just when they started the play clock. We'll see that when that back judge starts his countdown. But he's just going to...
It's delay a game.
Okay, we took the delay a game. We have 13 seconds left.
I think he only waved his hand like 3 times before he called that. That was very suspicious. But
usually I thought they usually start with about 5 seconds left, maybe even 10. So 4th down and about 11 from the 32 with 13 seconds left to go here. Fort Morgan leading 13-7.
41 seconds. 14.
So down to, we're at the 32-yard line.
Let's see it.
So we'll see what Fort Morgan wants to do here.
Good. Gosh,
See if
let's
they
play it conservative and leave them with 10 seconds or something.
So handoff to Tate Kimball around the left side. He breaks the tackle as he still keeps going, and he's finally brought down at the 30, but we're down to 6.6 seconds.
So they'll have one desperation throw downfield, or they might be able to get one quick one and gain 10 yards and then throw one downfield, but they don't have much life left in them.
So we're down to 6.6 seconds left. So if we can... Coaches are trying to wave the Mustang players over to the sideline. Fort Morgan has taken a timeout. This Fort Morgan timeout is brought to you by Ehrlich Toyota East. Whether you're in the market to purchase a new or pre-owned vehicle, Ehrlich Toyota East in Fort Morgan will fit you into the car or truck of your choice. Serving all of Northeast Colorado, Ehrlich Toyota East.
Very exciting, Ryan. Mustangs going. Looks like they're going to rifle. That's the final now, 15-0. Platte Valley up 16-12 over Kent Denver, so that's going to be probably Brush's next opponent, having to play Eaton and then Platte Valley. They all know what game plan to come up with because those are some very familiar foes.
That's for sure. So we'll see what Evergreen comes out here to try and get down to score. Fort Morgan has their defenders back at about the 45-yard line of Fort Morgan. So 2 receivers right and 2 left. Snap back. They're going to try and go down deep on this left sideline as we're down to 1 second, and it's incomplete, and time has run out. The Fort Morgan Mustangs have won the quarterfinal game 13-7 over the once undefeated Evergreen Cougars to advance to the state semifinals. We will be back with the post-game show on B106 and B106.com. This Fort Morgan Mustangs postgame show is brought to you by Morgan Community College. Find out why Morgan Community College is the best choice for your higher education. Visit MCC online at www.morgancc.edu or stop by the campus for a personal advising session. MCC, here to help you imagine your possibilities, believe in yourself, and achieve your goals. So a big victory here for the Fort Morgan Mustangs this afternoon with a 13-7 hard-fought win over the once 11-0, now 11-1 Cougars from Evergreen. So it didn't come out any better for them this year than it did 15 years ago in '99 when Fort Morgan beat them 40-10 for the state championship game that year. But the score was 13-0 at halftime. The only score coming in the second half was from Evergreen.
They had a hard time getting in. It was like 4 runs from within 2 yards to finally get across.
They finally got it in. Rifus, I guess that's how you pronounce it. Rifus finally took it in with from 1 yard out with about 4:15 to go.
And I still think when they look at the films, it's going to be one of those Missouri-Colorado deals where they got a 5th down, but that's all right. It worked out for the Mustangs.
So that's where it ended up, 13-7. I think Kevin's got some numbers for us here from this afternoon's game.
Real quickly, team totals for Evergreen, they had 36 attempts for 18 completions, 266 yards, and 1 interception. Quickly, 13, 16, 19 rushing, 19 carries, 1 touchdown on those 19 carries, and they had 28 yards. So 19 carries for 28 yards. Fort Morgan defense definitely a little better than Evergreen's defense against the run. Fort Morgan, on the other hand, I don't have grand totals quite yet. I can work on that. But I do have Tate Kimball rushing 24 times for 98 yards and a touchdown. Toby McBride, 21 tough yards on 7 carries. Fritzler comes in and runs a couple times for 5 yards. And Rosales has 9 carries for 24. Snyder, not the kind of game that he wants, but he ended up doing what he needed to do to win the game. He has 2 completions on 4 attempts for 2 yards and 2 interceptions. So actually none of his passes touched the ground, which isn't a bad thing. And we had 2 people catching those. Number 8 was Herrera catching 1 for 11, and Tate Campbell catching 1 for the loss of 9. So like you said, it doesn't really matter how we got there. We're traveling to Rifle next week to play them, another team that Fort Morgan has a little bit of history with, and I'm sure they're going to be looking to put the hurt on us. They just beat a really good Roosevelt team, although Roosevelt I think was probably a little more finesse, and the weather probably bothered them. Those Western Slope teams like to slug it out, and should be a great game.
Yeah, it should be a good game. We'll be there to cover it next Saturday, I presume, 1 o'clock. You just have to listen throughout the week, and John will have it he'll have the times and the date for, I'm sure it'll be next Saturday, just the time, but listen to John throughout the week, and he'll have all the information for you. So, excellent win. As you said, Rifle, we do have some history with them. I'm not exactly sure what I know. We had gone over there when my boys were playing and beat them over there a couple of times. So they're probably going to be looking to take a little revenge back on us. But right now it's Fort Morgan and Rifle in one of the playoff games, and the other game is going to be Discovery Canyon and Pueblo East for the other semifinal. But we will be in Rifle next Saturday to cover the semifinal game between Fort Morgan and Rifle. So excellent game here, defensive game here for the Mustangs. So we're going to go ahead and close this out. The sound engineer and producer of Fort Morgan Mustangs football has been Michaela Clipper. For Kevin Rohde, I'm Brian Nickel. Once again, the final score this afternoon, the Fort Morgan Mustangs 13, the Evergreen Cougars 7. You've been listening to Fort Morgan Mustangs football on B106 and B106.com. Good afternoon, everybody.